Okay, let's do this. Wait, what happened? Start the show.
Ah! You poke someone's eye out.
I know.
Thank God I'm wearing glasses.
Hey everyone, welcome. Welcome all to Awesome Hardware, the live show that Kyle and I do every Tuesday evening at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We are on the second half right now of episode number 105. So we're on side B. If you missed the first half, side A, it's on Kyle's channel, Bitwits. It's linked in the description. And we've had a good time so far. We've talked about technology. We've drank a little bit of beer.
Yeah.
Not a ton of beer.
No.
Paul
chugged a beer,
reasonable amount of beer. I did chug a beer.
You can watch part 1, side A, if you want to watch Paul chug a beer. He
know.
chugs it very quickly.
I did a good.
impressive.
I did a reasonably good job chugging that beer. But I'm still maintaining. Staying strong.
You're leveled, bro.
Although I'm wishing I got more water. I don't have any more water. I guess I'll have to just keep drinking beer.
You don't need. It's not like you need it to live or anything.
Anyway, though, quick warning: we do cuss sometimes and talk about adult themes from time to time. Nothing terrible, but bear that in mind. And we're mostly going to talk about some tech news today. And then the second half of my half of the show is going to be pretty loose. Pretty open. We're going to answer some questions and all that good stuff. So thanks to any of you guys who are watching live right now, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're watching on twitch.tv/awesomehardware. We greatly appreciate you being here. If you guys want to help support our channels, then feel free to buy some merchandise.
Hell yeah.
My website is paulshardware.net, and as you can see, I have shirts and mugs and pint glasses, some polo shirts, some beanies as well. All very high quality merchandise. The pub glasses seem to be very popular today. I'm drinking out of one of those. They're awesome, and feel free to buy them. And if you buy them during the show, we will shout out your name at the end, and it will be wonderful. Kyle's store is bitwit.tech/store. He also has a selection of shirts and some mugs and glasses and a hoodie.
Yeah.
Which is all super nice.
Just in time for summer.
Yeah, just in time for summer. All right, we're gonna start my half of the show. Actually, we always do tech news at the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half, so that's what we're going to continue doing.
Seamless transition.
Yes, so you don't even know what's happened.
So well planned out.
So, if you guys weren't already aware, I've talked in the past couple shows about net neutrality. I'm going to kind of continue to do this as the commentary cycle continues. I'm going to try to make it shorter and shorter as people are more and more familiar with the issue as it goes on. But most recently for net neutrality, and here's an Ars Technica article, talking about
Oliver.
John Oliver. This is also why I shouldn't talk about this on the second half of the show when I've had a few drinks.
That beer's catching up with you.
But John Oliver, who does the Last Week Tonight show, has tackled net neutrality once again, just like he did about 3 years ago towards the beginning of his show. So if you guys haven't watched this, I highly recommend it. If you don't like John Oliver for political reasons, I understand, and there's lots of reasons to be politically active for various reasons these days. I would say please try to look past that for now, because this really is an issue that affects everyone. There's an FCC comment period open right now because the FCC is proposing to remove the net neutrality rules that are currently in effect. Those rules are in effect because internet service providers are classified as Title II common carriers by the FCC. I'm going to read this comment because I think it's pretty good at sort of explaining the situation. It's a promoted comment from the article. Tom XP411 says, "Here's what bugs me about this whole thing. The American people have spoken, and the overwhelming consensus from all sides," this was in 2014 and 2015, by the way, when this first came up, "was that we want the government to enforce net neutrality. This gave the FCC a pretty clear mandate to do exactly what they did when Title II was invoked and net neutrality was enacted, which the FCC had to do. The FCC tried to do it by just creating rules, and Verizon sued them, and they had to roll them back. So the only way they were able to actually enforce net neutrality was to classify ISPs as Title II, or as common carriers under Title II of the 1934. It's an old act from 1934. Anyway, we said with a strong and clear voice that fast lanes, slow lanes, and corporate censorship are not to be tolerated, and the FCC listened. Neither Pi nor anyone else can say that this is in America's best interest when America told the FCC exactly what America wants. Quite frankly, I am still amazed that this is even under consideration. We strongly agree with you, and John Oliver and the folks at Last Week Tonight have made it even slightly easier to comment on this if it's something that you feel strongly about. And honestly, you can comment on it one way or the other. By and large, the people we speak to are for keeping things as they are. They want to keep ISPs classified as Title II common carriers so that net neutrality can be enforced by the FCC. So if you want to tell the FCC that, go to gofccyourself.com.
Haha.
Which will basically take you through several of the steps that you need to do on the FCC website to get to the commentary page. Granted, the FCC website has been unstable, especially in the past couple days since John Oliver posted his video on Last Week Tonight. And there's some conspiracy theorists out there who have said maybe the FCC website is down because they don't want more people to comment. Who knows? A lot of us actually think that it doesn't matter how many people comment and what they say. The FCC is still going to do what they want to do anyway. But it's important to speak up right now so that in the future, when they're like, we don't care what people have said and what people want, we're going to do whatever we want to do, you can be like, you know what? Most people didn't want you to do that. So,
Yeah.
And beyond that, it goes into voting and all that kind of stuff. But
Sure.
we'll leave it at that because, again, I'm going to try to keep those segments relatively short, but really, really strongly encourage you
Good summary right there, Paul.
Well, thank you. I'm trying. Last week was a bit rough around the edges, so I was trying to be slightly better this time and at least point you guys in a better direction.
Indeed.
Okay. Next up on tech news, GTC is going on this week, the GeForce Technology Conference, which is an event that Nvidia puts on every year. Here's a pretty interesting device or fancy-ass computer that they're demonstrating here, which is a multi-user VR setup. Here's the picture of it right there.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. This build here has 4 Quadro P6000 GPUs, which I think I should double... Yeah, Quadro P6000, which I think are fairly... I'm going to double check how much these cost at retail right now. But 4 of those all together, which gives you 4 independent outputs to connect up your VR things that you might need to connect.
Your headsets?
Yeah, your headsets and HMDs and all that good stuff. Quadro P6000. Why is this giving me a UK website? Why?
It's €4,000 though.
Shopping.
Or around 4,000.
How much does the Quadro P6000 cost?
Holy crap,
right now?
$7,000
So depending on where you go,
for the 24 gig.
each of these cards cost $5,000 to $7,000.
Holy.
We can say that. So obviously not an inexpensive solution, but
Do you need these cards to do multiplayer
No.
VR?
no,
Okay.
you don't. But they're workstation GPUs. Each one is connected to an HTC Vive Business Edition headset. And this is sort of being marketed by Nvidia as like, hey, here's a solution that you could deploy in various situations to allow people to all be running VR off of the same machine to potentially be in a collaborative environment where they all work together. So each Quadro in this system is running a virtual machine on a server, which allows each VR user to act independently. So each VR gets their separate instance of a virtual machine operating system where they can load up their games and whatever and play. The gamers, though, when they're actually playing, can all be tracked by the same lighthouses. So that's kind of cool. So they can all be in the same area together. You don't necessarily need multiple lighthouses or anything like that to track them. So they can move around in the same space. And as the article points out, there's lots of different implementations of this or use cases where it could be useful. Office environments for collaborations of like people who are in different spaces around the world, potentially something like that, just a sort of virtual meeting environment or something more simple like that. But potentially, obviously, gaming is a huge potential use of it. but also educational facilities, amusement parks and arcades, specialized gaming situations that are you couldn't potentially get at home, but you might go to an arcade or something like that to play in. Also, military and manufacturing industries could potentially have uses as well. Although the article doesn't elaborate on how those industries might make use of something like this. All in all, though, kind of interesting. The couple points brought up by the article, and actually I thought of these myself even before the article pointed out, but some issues with the current head-mounted display VR solutions that are available is like tripping over wires, because obviously you have a lot of wires coming out of this thing, and if you have 4 people all working in the same environment, that could be an issue. Running into or hitting each other as well. Multi-user collaborative VR environments are still, I believe, in the sort of infancy stages right now, so don't know how that would be handled. You should, in a VR environment, be able to see the other person who's there with you in whatever VR space that's created, but obviously there might be issues if you're playing a game and trying to use a weapon where you're swinging something around or something like that. That could be a problem, but hopefully something like that would be able to be worked out. I actually saw a video, and I think this was something random that I stumbled over on Twitter, and I couldn't find it. I spent several minutes of my increasingly short period of time I had to plan the show before we went live trying to find this video, but it was people who were playing. It was a VR environment. The video was using augmented reality, so they were doing the thing where they were recording the people playing live, but they were overlaying the actual VR environment as well. And they were playing a multiplayer game where they were all jumping around and putting their hands out in specific ways to shoot beams of energy at each other and stuff like that. And it was a really cool video. I mean, it's very stylized. They obviously edited it all together and stuff, but it was a cool example of maybe what something like this could be used for. And I'm sorry to give you guys all that description without being able to actually point you to where that is, but who knows? Maybe somebody in chat knows what I'm talking about.
That's cool. Remember last week we were talking about the future of VR and what these smaller startup companies are working on to improve HMDs and just the whole VR experience. And we talked about TPcast, how they've already released their wireless module to go completely wireless, and then they're currently working on the same sort of thing, an upgrade to that would allow you to do wireless play with multiplayer, potentially locally.
Okay.
So I don't know if you could use that in tandem with a system like this, or a similar setup where you could have a bunch of 3 or 4 people in one large warehouse or a large room, wireless, not tripping over each other's wires, and having free range to play together and collaborate on in a VR environment or whatever.
I kind of wonder for wireless solutions, how much. Just because there's so much data that needs to be communicated very quickly with minimal latency between the source, the host and your actual head-mounted display and everything, how quickly does this wireless spectrum that's available get crowded with the different connections that are going on and everything?
If you have multiple signals at the same time, things like that.
I'd be curious about that. But yeah, Cell also pointed out in chat that he would pay money to see us do the Star Trek Bridge Simulator.
Star Trek Bridge.
Star Trek Bridge Simulator, which Steve has sent us several. Steve was really early on that. He sent it to us way before it actually went out, and there's several, I think, YouTubers who have gone to a specific location where they've tried out the Star Trek Bridge Simulator. But yeah, that'd be cool to try out. I wouldn't mind trying that out at all.
Sounds fun.
I like pretending like I'm in Star Trek. I used to do that all the time. All right. So speaking of VR, let's segue right into this next story. VESA. You guys are familiar with VESA?
The mounting standard for monitors and things like that, TVs.
Well, VESA is actually the Video Electronics Standards Association.
Okay, so it's an association.
Video Electronics Standards Association. Sorry,
okay.
Wanted to enunciate that. So yeah, they're an association that has helped standardize quite a few different things. We often hear the term VESA because we say, oh, it has a VESA mount. But that is the result of the VESA group's efforts at standardization across lots of different manufacturers.
Okay.
Because standardization can help both manufacturers and consumers in a lot of ways. So VESA is now looking at VR, virtual reality, as an emerging market and a place where they feel like some standardization could do some good. So VESA, just to give you guys a little bit of history, is very well known for DisplayPort. The best connection still, in my opinion, even though HDMI 2.0 is out, I still like DisplayPort better. Also, embedded DisplayPort, which is very, very commonly used in laptops for a connection between the screen and your graphics card on the laptop. Also, they previously defined long-standing EDID, the EDID standard, Extended Display Identification Data, which is a standard for the communication of data between a monitor and its source. That is used and works with VGA, HDMI, and DisplayPort. So, and maintaining the integrity of an EDID signal is the reason why sometimes when you're using a splitter or something like that, it doesn't work. Because part of that also goes into stuff like digital rights management and that kind of thing, but I don't want to get too far off topic here. Anyway, basically, and also, of course, the holes in the back of your monitor and your TV. Standardizing that, VESA standard mount sizes for mounting different sizes of displays. The reason there's a ton of different mounts you can buy, and arms and swing arms and all that kind of thing, that all just work with whatever monitor you happen to have, as long as it has a standard VESA mount, is because of VESA standardization.
Standards are awesome.
Now, I say all that to fluff up this story because honestly, there's not a ton beyond that. But due to the rapid growth and also the fragmentation of the augmented reality and virtual reality markets, VESA has said they really need some standardization. The lack of standardization is causing compatibility issues between products from different vendors, as well as increasing the complexity and cost of development, ownership, and replacements.
What would they standardize? Does it say?
No, it doesn't. I mean, there's a few things. I mean, like the size of an HMD or like the actual viewports you're using. What they're saying right now is that the developers who are developing these products, which is primarily right now as far as products that have been brought to market, HTC with the Vive, as well as Oculus with the Rift, they've been focusing on creating an end user experience that is, tenable for VR environments, which they've done a pretty good job with. If you get a Rift or you get a Vive, you can do VR and you can play and you can do it. Like even if you are susceptible to motion sickness or that kind of thing, like VR works and it's very fun. And granted, there's a pretty significant barrier to entry still because you need a high-end PC and a headset solution that'll cost you between $500 and $600 just for that by itself. But it works. But basically what VESA is saying is that we need to introduce some standardization to this to allow for replacements. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what they're talking about specifically. If they're talking about like replacement, interface connection between your face and the device or something like that.
Like the
maybe not
actual
something like
padding, you mean? Or
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm speculating.
Yeah.
I'm throwing out potentials here.
Could be the connections for the HMD, because I know they're different between the Rift and the Vive.
Yes, so it could be a universal way of connecting it. It could be It could be even creating a new standard for a single connector between a headset. Sure. If we're ignoring the potential for wireless connectivity or something like that, but a standardized connection, so you can plug it in to your computer and plug it into your headset, and you don't have to worry about separate connections for power and video and audio. So there's potential for that, and that's the end of the story. Okay,
fun.
Let's move on and talk about Google Fuchsia.
Fuchsia.
That is right. Google's Fuchsia is a smartphone OS. Yes, a new smartphone OS. And if you're like, wait, doesn't Google already make operating systems? The answer would be yes. This would be their third operating system after Android and Chrome OS. And Fuchsia was first talked about back in August. So this isn't new news, but what is new is that there's actually a UI now that people can sort of look at and mess around with a little bit. So
it's a mobile OS?
Yeah, so it seems to be designed specifically for mobile devices, and in fact, the So the operating system is based on a completely new microkernel, which is called Magenta. It is not Linux-based at all. It's open source and real time, and the operating system is licensed under a mix of BSD Clause 3, MIT, and Apache 2.0. Magenta is targeting modern phones and modern personal computers with fast processors, non-trivial amounts of RAM, with arbitrary peripherals doing open-ended computation.
So this is like
Basically high-end phones.
competing with Android then.
Yes, but Google is known in the past also to create multiple products for a specific market. So it's not necessarily the first time they've done this.
So you don't think that they're trying to phase out Android eventually?
No,
Okay.
they're creating this as an alternative to Android.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, who knows long term?
So maybe the next
But-
Chrome Pixel or the Google Pixel will be featuring this.
Or maybe a
this
special
operating
version of the Pixel with this special operating system or something like that.
Mhm.
But the UI that's been shown so far, it's very much compromised by blocks. You're not necessarily going to see what's in them, but this is email.
system. Compromised or comprised?
Comprised.
Oh.
Did I say compromised?
I
I'm
think so.
sorry. Didn't mean to say that.
That's-
But as you scroll through this, you can see different things like you might have cards that are available like in Android right now. You can tap on them to bring the app full screen. Basic UI functionality type stuff. You can long press on an app and create sort of a windowed mode, and you can drag them around on top of each other to move them around, which is something that you don't necessarily see on Android. A different way of moving things around. There's a tablet mode, so they're definitely designing it to work with multiple devices, not just smartphones. You can also quickly do like split screen interface, so you can pop apps between that. So for multitasking, this is a 3-app split screen mode that they have as well. And then also different ways of configuring apps to be shown side by side, so you can actually use stuff at the same time. Probably, again, more useful for something like a tablet, but here you can see like email and various other screens that they have lined up. Tabbed modes, tab interface with a phone screen. There's also suggestion panels and a keyboard interface and all that good stuff. So, yeah, kind of interesting. Not sure how long it's going to be until there's something based or that actually uses this operating system. But interesting that Google is developing it. The graphics renderer is actually Vulkan based, which is also kind of cool. And again, given that it's open source and they're using lots of open source license development kits, there seems to be lots of potential flexibility and implementations of it. So interesting. Again, like you said, it's like weird. It's to say like, well, Google has Android. Android doesn't have a whole lot of competition outside of Apple. So why would they develop something else, something new? But obviously they have their reasons. And the UI that we were just walking you through there, by the way, is the current Fuchsia system UI, and it's called Armadillo.
It does look very modern.
Yeah.
I'll say it looks very contemporary.
Which you would expect coming from Google.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Cool.
All right. Here's a bit of hardware news. CoolerMaster is launching a new product. Also, if anyone from
MasterBox.
Guru of 3D is watching, you have a typo in your headline.
Launches.
Typo in your headline.
Launches.
That is journalism.
CoolerMaster launches.
That is big time journalism. No.
Paul and I never have any inaccuracies or errors in our
Hey,
videos ever.
I'm not saying I've never had a typo before, but a typo in the headline is bad. Okay, sorry, Guru 3D, but thank you for this article as well as the wonderful pictures. Look, a new case from CoolerMaster.
Hey.
This is the MasterBox Lite 5. There it is. So very similar. It's part of their master case line. So I would imagine it's going to be intercompatible with all of their various master case series accessories and that kind of thing. It's available in 3 different colors, though. This is the red version that's shown here. There's also a version with sort of a silver trim as well as black trim. It's got 420 millimeter fans built into it, which that's pretty nice. I'm guessing there's maybe one at the back and one at the top and 2 at the front.
Sounds reasonable.
But I like that. 420 millimeter CoolerMaster fans. CoolerMaster usually does pretty good fans, even their kind of bare bones ones that they ship with chassis. Here's a look at it with the actual parts installed. It has an edge-to-edge transparent acrylic side panel, which, that could be fun.
I don't know how I feel about the
rear.
cable routing cutouts. There's no real grommets.
It's not. So this is a budget. This is a budget case.
Okay.
Bear that in mind. So it does have a dark mirror front panel, as you can see right here. So the red version here. I'm not sure if the red version ships with red LED fans or if this is just something that they're doing for the marketing materials. But you would potentially be able to see red LED fans through there. So there's that. And it's only €49.99, which the reason I knew how many euros, €49.99 was when you were talking about that price on your half of the show, is because I looked it up for this article, which is about $55 US.
So this competes directly with the something like the Corsair Spec 04.
It would.
That we just talked about on my half.
But I don't hate the front of this one. I'm going to be honest.
This looks a lot nicer.
This looks cleaner.
It looks more expensive too.
I like the front of this. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the clear look here. I'd have to see it in person to see how clean it actually looks. I wouldn't want it to look tacky.
But it already looks way better than the Corsair.
But it does seem to already look much better on the front. Here's a look at the side with the completely clear side panel acrylic, which I'm on the fence about too. This is probably a cheaper way of producing a side panel. I have to imagine that would be less expensive than metal. But it does give a complete look at the side, and with the cover over the power supply, the internals look nice. So
that's nice. You get a basement for that price point.
So you got the basement. So $55 US. I think Corsair has a pretty nice potential case here. Like Kyle said, it's missing a few of the nicer things that you get with cases that cost more like $80 or $100.
I take it back though. If it's $55, I don't care.
55. So
it's still pretty damn good.
There you go.
Nice little SSD tray right there on the front too.
Yes,
that's cool.
So again, this is a Guru of 3D article, and it's talking about the launch in Europe. And it should be available at local resellers in Europe by the end of May 2017. I don't know if that applies to the US as well, but hopefully this would also be available in the US.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. YouTube has a dark mode now. Have you seen this? Are you familiar with this?
I heard about it. I haven't seen it, though. Try it. A fresh look for YouTube.
Yes.
This new desktop design highlights your favorite videos and creators while making YouTube easier and more fun to use. We're still working on it, but we can't wait for you to try it out and let us know what you think. Try it now. Try it out. Click the try it now button. Do it.
Hold on. If you go to youtube.com/new, you can access this page, which has a quick look at the clean design for their new UI, which does look very clean. It looks like their current UI, but with fewer lines separating things.
Yeah.
That's okay, though. Dark theme, though. I really like this option.
Do it.
Dark mode is cool.
Do it.
They also reference a totally new site design that's built on a new, faster framework. That means we can build new features faster, such as dark theme, and more to come. And you can try it now. Now, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna hit try it now, but not show people. Oh, okay. We can show this, right? Yeah, sure. All right, so I hit try it now. So this is the recommended feed, and the show more. And again, yeah, it feels a little cleaner. Looks like stuff's spaced out just slightly more.
Yep. It
wow.
looks like it would read better on mobile.
Wow,
That's for sure.
Comey got fired. Let's not talk about that.
Kobe?
No, the FBI.
Oh.
No, we're not going to get into that. So yeah, that's not bad. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up dark mode.
Dark mode. Do the dark mode.
Stop it. I think dark mode is up here.
Oh, dark theme.
I'm just making sure that I can show this. Also, we're for streaming an ad that's playing on the video that we're streaming. Oh no, never mind. This is an ad that's playing on my video. Never mind. Right, so if you go up here, you can choose dark theme.
Activate
dark theme.
Oh! It basically just turns it into YouTube gaming.
Look how dark it is.
That's exactly what it does.
Is this a non-skippable ad? I shouldn't have non-skippable ads playing it. Or can I skip it?
Well, you do. No, they just skipped it to a Linus Tech Tips video.
Oh, look at that. Look how dark it is.
Why are there so many dislikes?
Oh my God, it's so dark. Because this is Linus'
Oh, that's
$1,000.
We
And I did not.
don't
is it
talk
really,
about this.
Is it really segueing people to that from my $1,000 bill?
That's pretty genius, Google.
I was not intending that.
It's not up to you.
It's
just Google
okay.
just being on point.
Right. That's just what happened.
That's very funny.
All right. Hey, that looks pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah. I like it.
It looks
Dark
clean.
theme. Why not?
Sure. Everyone go for the dark theme. And again, you can access that by going to youtube.com/new. But you do have to opt in for it right now because I think it's kind of like a beta thing or something like that. What's going on?
Just people laughing.
Rip Linus. Linus is his $1,000 build. It's Be Quiet's fault.
It is.
Be Quiet.
No, that's not true. I
not.
got sponsored with the same parts. The same parts. Not more than a month ago before he output his.
Okay.
And I almost did a similar build, and I was like, I thought exactly what everyone in the comment section of his video was thinking. This is horrible price performance. So instead, I matched up the rest of the parts to sort of, to make sense, really, for it to make sense.
Okay.
It was going to be a budget build, and I was like, no, not with that cooler, not with that case. I ended up making it. I put an 1800X in it, and it was a high-end Ryzen build, which then all of a sudden makes perfect sense.
It's totally fine.
It's a great system.
Because then extra money spent on a $150 power supply versus a $100 power supply, it gets folded into it a lot more easily.
Right.
But honestly, I thought about this a lot because I went and commented on that video, and actually I had the top comments on that video for I don't know if it's still that way
on
or not.
Linus's?
On Linus's video, and I felt completely justified by it because it was completely organic. Like, I saw his video, $1,000 build guide. I was like, oh, Linus did a new build guide. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Let's check it out. They usually do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
$1,000. Hey, I just did a $1,000 build. I bet he's doing a Ryzen build. Let's see what he used.
Yeah.
Looked at it. I was like, oh wow, it's a i5
7500?
74 or 7500?
7500.
7500 and like an RX. What was the GPU? It was not a 1070. It was a step down from a 1070.
480 or 580.
Was it 480 or 580 or something like that? And I just looked at it and I was like, man, this just seems disappointing. So I made the comment very much how I thought. Like at the time, I was like, wow, this just seems like a letdown compared to like the Ryzen stuff that's available right now. And I tried not to make it too much like, hey, go look at my channel, like, because I didn't want to be that guy. But
right.
But yeah, a lot of
Valid,
people apparently thought the same thing. So there you go. But yeah, where was I going with that?
No, I totally agree. I felt like Linus should have known to like not greenlight that.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Is what I was thinking about is how much it is about phrasing and how you phrase a video and how you present it to people. Because I was thinking like, you know what? If he left $1,000 out of that, and if he left budget out of that, and he said, here's a build guide.
Yeah.
Here's how to build a system.
Yeah.
And maybe said, here's the build we used, and here's 2 or 3 other parts lists that you could build using these same techniques and blah, blah. Like, I think he would have gotten zero blowback on that. So I think that was just a phrasing issue.
One word in your title or description or thumbnail can change everything.
Yeah.
It can really change
how people
everything.
How people are viewing it from the get-go and that kind of thing. So
you always have to find strike a balance.
And we're not trying to roast Linus. I think Linus would agree with us on this stuff.
Yeah, we're not roasting
very,
at all.
Very honest.
We're providing very just genuine feedback or whatever.
Okay. All right, we have one last news story to get through really quickly. This is from Hot Hardware. Apparently, there's another incoming Ryzen microcode update, which will potentially expand DDR4 memory support, which is very useful.
Faster speeds, hopefully.
Potentially faster speeds, potentially just more memory validated compatibility. Excuse me. So yeah, what AMD calls their microcode updates is AGESA. I've heard them pronounce it once or twice before. AGESA, which is AMD. I don't know what the rest of it stands for. I knew what it stood for a minute ago. Hold on, let's see if I can find it. It stands for something.
AGESA.
Something important. It's AMD.
Amanda Rose Collection, Sterling Silver Diamond Necklace. Oh.
AMD Generic Encapsulated Software Architecture.
Duh.
Is what AGISA stands for. Anyway, though, about a month ago, they rolled out 1.004 or 1.0.0.4, and what has now been discussed by Gigabyte in some forums and on Overclockers UK, where they've been talking about an upcoming Gigabyte BIOS update for some of their X370 boards. And Gigabyte was talking about various things, like it's going to help out with IOMMU fixes and some other options like disabling the LAN and ROM image update and cold boot options and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of it, they mentioned also AGISA 1006, which is going to improve memory support.
Yay!
He said, got high hopes for this one. Going to enable 20 plus memory registers. So that's pretty cool. Memory support has been sort of flaky with AMD depending on what memory modules you use. This is a big part of the reason why G.Skill launched their Flare X series, very specifically Samsung BDI single rank DDR4 configurations, which is going to give you much, much better potential for having compatibility out of the box with AMD Ryzen platforms. And having faster memory on Ryzen is a very, very good way to get better performance. In particular, a very good way to get better gaming performance if that's what you're aiming for. The article points out some of the things that were updated with the 1004 update from last month. They reduced DRAM latency by 6 nanoseconds. They resolved the FMA3 code sequence bug that was causing system hangs. They resolved an overclock sleep bug and a couple other things. But basically, it's coming soon, since Gigabyte obviously has it, or has some version of it that they're rolling into a UEFI update. So if you have a Ryzen system, you should definitely get it as soon as it's available, and it would be available via a BIOS or UEFI update download from your motherboard manufacturer. So if you have ASRock, Gigabyte, MSI, or Asus motherboard, they should have that on their support page as soon as that rolls out.
Cool.
So everyone get that.
Sounds good.
All right. Wow, we've actually used up most of the time, but we are going to answer some questions here towards the end of the show. And we are also going to do some Johnson shout-outs very shortly as well. So thanks to all you guys who have donated during the show. You're lovely people. And I guess maybe should we just get right into that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's see. Where's it say? Paul's hat. No,
all right, so we got Flippin' Fred, I believe. Or is this?
I don't see where the...
Oh, does it separate?
It says Kyle's half.
Gerald. Oh, here we go.
Oh, did he put yours? No.
Kyle, the quote was from the Big Lebowski.
Ah, okay.
Wait, what? Oh, Gerald. What?
Did you find out where the beginning is? Why does it say Kyle's half down there?
Dude, tomorrow's already the 10th. Because we read these ones, right?
Right.
No, it's Paul's half. Cell's just drunk. This is Paul.
You're right. Correct.
Cell's drunk.
That's Paul's half.
Okay, it's fine.
Lay off the booze, Cell.
It's fine. All right, on to my half. First off, $5 from Automatic Matt. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for welcoming Bianca, but Kyle scared her off a bit. Now you got to win her over. PS. Thanks, guys.
What? I don't know why I'm surprised.
Hey,
she's probably better off. You know what?
True.
I did her a favor by scaring the living daylights out of her. She's in a better place now.
I've always been one to say, you know what? You just got to be yourself from the get-go. That way people know what they're in for. Because if you try to paint this lovely picture of yourself or whatever, eventually that's going to fall apart.
Yep.
And so, you're just going to be like, look, here I am.
Whip it out.
And maybe I'm offensive to, female people.
Small
and stuff.
Aborigine tribe,
What?
What?
Why?
I don't know.
I don't know where you...
I'm not sure where I was going.
Took a left turn in there.
Yeah.
I did not follow along. Matt, thank you for your donation.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
That's what we're trying to get at.
Yeah. Crimson
Belith, help! Don't know what to choose for dedicated 3D modeling animation gaming rig components. Is it better to buy Zen 1800X and a Vega RX 580 or go Intel? Right now, by and large, it seems like if you want the most bang for your buck, go for an 8-core AMD Ryzen processor, which you can get for as little as $320, $330 for a 1700, especially if you're willing to overclock it a little bit. That is where you will get the most performance for your money. And that seems to apply very broadly to most CPU-intensive tasks. There's of course, bit more of a question that comes into it and a bit more options and potential Intel competition when it comes to specifically gaming. But if you're talking about 3D modeling, animation, well, you also said gaming, but 3D modeling and animation, I'd say go for that Ryzen CPU right now. And then as far as your GPU, just check what software you're using to see if it uses CUDA, if it uses OpenCL, and plan accordingly. If it's CUDA heavy, if they work very closely with Nvidia, I would say maybe go with an Nvidia GPU. If it's OpenCL, go for AMD. But thank you, Crimson Behilith. Gerald Baker.
Gerald Baker.
Yeah!
Gerald Baker for the $10.
Gerald Baker, thank you again for the $10.
Kyle, the quote was from Big Lebowski.
Ah.
Thank you for refreshing my memory. Paul, I am drinking Green Flash GFB out of your wonderful pub glass.
Lovely.
In true Ron Swanson fashion. Here is $10. Do with it how you see fit.
We shall. Thank you, sir.
Love Ron
Cheers
Swanson.
to you.
He's the best. Thank you very much, sir. Odin Hain, Runzor.
Oda
Once
Hane
again,
Runzor.
$5. There's your lost revenue,
Oh,
Paul.
thank you.
Totally didn't think you can play that ukulele. By the way, Kyle said my name right. LOL. Oda Hain. Now I forgot how I said it.
Oda Hane.
Oda Hain. Oda Hane.
I don't know if it's in tune.
Oda Hain. Sing us a song, Paul.
I don't know if it's in tune. Also, I have not practiced.
All right, you play the song, and then I'll read the donation comments in sing song, to your music. Just do a little lullaby. All right, that's how we're gonna do all the comments, all the donation questions from now on, with a melody. Bushnell, $15 donation. Please cheer me on while I work on the thesis I have to defend on Friday. Also, here's some of the money I just won back from a scammer because I have ad block.
Oh, I like it. I like that.
Thanks, Jack. Mustard. He donated $10. The RGB PC has 7 terabytes more of storage now. Thanks again, Paul. Imgur.com/a/ntgsu.
That's Mustard from. That is the. If I'm reading this correctly, that is the winner of the RGB PC.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently he has added 7 terabytes of storage to it. That's freaking awesome.
Excellent. That's amazing.
Wow.
Oh God,
He put an image or link too, which maybe I can pull up.
Yes. We should totally do that.
I'll try. All right, hold on. Let's see if we can do that. I'm curious. Kyle, maybe you can keep moving on.
Yeah, okay. Mystics Tube for the $10 in Canadian. I would love to see a video with a GPU cooled by a Hyper Evo 212 for science. Also, happy to see you spread the word about net neutrality. Yes, that'd be an interesting video. Hyper 212 cooling a GPU. I'm stealing that one.
That would be interesting.
Totally stealing that one. I don't know. It's got to be possible. Robert Davis for the $5. I am water cooling my computer. What company should I use, and which should I avoid? Also, soft or hard tubing. I haven't tried bending ever. Soft tubing if you really want just like the easiest route.
Yeah.
Hard tubing if you want it to look maybe a little bit nicer, but obviously spend a lot more time and effort trying to perfect it. There is a learning curve to it. It can be stressful. Companies that I've used for water cooling mainly comprised of EK water blocks. That's
EK,
really like
I'd
Bits Power.
say Bits Power is very
good.
very good for fittings. Primo Chill, I think, also has a wide
Primo Chill,
selection.
yeah.
They've been adding more stuff recently and everything. Fantex has been expanding their line and doing some GPU blocks. and that kind of thing recently as well.
Alpha Cool has some pretty good radiators and things like that.
Yeah, I'd check out Alpha Cool. Yeah, all of those.
Go watch all of Jay's videos. You'll
All
know
right.
more about water cooling soon enough. Nate Penny, $5. Paul, will you finish your beer for $5? First time viewer and love your channel. He loves your channel.
I can probably do that.
And he's a first time viewer.
Okay.
This is the only way that we're going to get repeat customers here, Paul, is if
Cheers.
you just
There's-
pound
there's
your
not a
beer
whole lot left,
senselessly.
so I can...
There you go. You've already pounded a whole beer earlier today, so what's another third?
Yay.
Brian Webb, $2. Can I buy some of your used components? If I sell them. If I start selling them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just sell them just for any old person,
If I put them up for sale.
but eventually maybe I'll sell them, and I'll send out some message or whatever. Coda,
Coda!
$10. Shit, I missed the first half of the show. Here, Paul, take my money. Kyle, I'll make sure you get my monies
All right.
next week.
Coda, we know you're good for it.
I will come next week to collect from your ass, Coda. You best believe, son. I will collect. Daniel
Put the money in the
Druzak,
bag.
$1.90.
Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah,
the
it's for
very-
$1.90.
Hey, $1.90.
Solid. Christian, $10.
cheeseburger.
In their last WAN show, Linus mentioned the video had been in the pipeline for a while, and they goofed on the name. P.S. Hi from OC. Hey!
Oh, yeah.
Hello from Orange County, and yes, that happens sometimes. Especially like Linus, he's got a huge team. He probably plans videos out like months in advance. I mean, maybe at least weeks. At least weeks. So maybe he started planning that rig before Ryzen. It's possible. Who knows? But at any rate, thank you very much for the donation.
Thanks, Christian.
Derek Perham, $2.
Thanks, Derek.
Yeah. Juvenile 1228, $50.
Holy crap, $50.
You gotta do a flip now. He donated $50. What are you gonna do? He donated $50 to you on your half of the show. You keep that. You have to give him a flip. You have to give him a flip and flip. Bruh.
I can't.
Alright, just play more ukulele.
I can do more ukulele.
Give me a good chorus.
I can only think of 2 chords that I can play right now.
Give me that chord progression, Paul.
No, that's not right.
Something a little jazzy, something a little upbeat, bright. Yeah. Yeah. One more. Here we go. Automatic Matt, $5. Thanks, guys. I was just kidding, Kyle. Kidding about what? Watch the earlier part of the show to find out. Fred Rant, $5. This is to please stop. LOL, my ears hurt. I'm sure they do, Fred. Yeah. PC419 Tech Tips, $20. All the way from Melbourne, Australia. Oh, it's 20 Australian dollars. What's that? I don't know. Great
Worth more
work,
money.
guys. Awesome content as always. Hopefully you can buy some PC parts for relatively cheap. Oh, who are we kidding? You live in fucking Australia.
Sorry.
Yeah. Fred Rent once again for $20. What do you think of DX Racer chairs? Don't you have a DX
Nope.
race? Nope, that's not. It's Vertigear.
Vertigear.
We don't know. We only got Vertigear. Got Max Namek. We don't know about
Bob
DX
Dylan.
Racer chair. Yeah, I'll do it. Bob Dylan. Sebastian Casella. 20 ARS. Mini ITX, Micro ATX, gaming build, where to aim? I don't know. Jugglers in the
Jeez. Eesh.
that's weird.
Everybody must eat some. Are we at
Oh,
the
boy.
end? Are we,
We have a few more
a
here.
few more.
Mini ATX, Micro ATX, you know, do whatever your heart desires. Depends on what kind of function you want the board to have. You have a bit more expandability options with Micro ATX, more RAM, things like that.
I like
ATX,
micro ATX
happy
because you,
medium.
you have a little bit more expandability.
Yeah, your memory, GPUs, you got another PCIe lane there. Mini ATX if you just really need the smallest possible rig. BR battles, $2. Are we still doing this, or
What?
are we still? Are you? I'm just gonna talk these next couple ones here.
Yeah, you can just we'll do the where you talk over the music.
Yep. BR battles, $2. What's the best upgrade for the price from my 970? I'd say GTX 1070, perhaps. Significant increase in performance there. And it's not going to set you back too much. You know, good $300 to $350 for the cheaper models. I think that's a good place to start. Bulbasaur for the $5.
Ooh, Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur, very bold of you, sir. Very bold of you to donate without any sort of comment. No, here it is. I've had my 3770K and GTX 1070 with 16 gigs of RAM set up for a few years now. Thinking of going for Ryzen with a GTX 1070. Oh, we're just talking about that. What do you know? Or should I wait for things like Vega to release? Vega is around the corner. I'd say with your current setup, you're probably doing pretty well. You don't need to upgrade immediately. You can probably hold out a little bit until Vega drops so you can see for yourself what the sort of price to performance is compared to something like a GTX 1070 and decide from there. Obviously, we don't have the inside scoop. Even if we did, we couldn't tell you about Vega performance, so just hold out for it. When launches are right around the corner, it's worth your patience is generally rewarded. Russell Purcell, $25. Hey guys, from a bartender at a brew pub, here's a tip. Also expect a care package soon.
Oh.
Why, thank you very much, Russell.
From a brew pub, I am excited.
Yeah, no doubt.
That makes me very excited.
I'll be checking our PO boxes frequently. Coda, $5. When is the album coming out, guys? Never.
We need better recording equipment.
Yeah, we do. First things first. We gotta get signed. Label it's a very involved process. Crimson, Behilith, 1 GPP. No comment. Why, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate the tip. And finally, Mystics Tube, 2 Canadian. Happy to hear you may look at the Evo 212 GPU idea. Yeah, it was a great idea. We will definitely check it out. Maybe we'll do a collab on it or something like that, since we both heard it at the same time.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. But that's gonna conclude it for the donations, guys. Thank you so much for donating all that you have on both half of the shows. We really do appreciate it. It does help. And we got
glorious.
a few Johnson shout-outs before we close things out.
Yes, we do.
Really quickly, we'll go over these because we are slightly over time now. Ian! Thank you very much, Ian, for picking up...
Double Johnson, Ian!
Double Johnson for picking up glasses.
This is such consistent double Johnsons
And a
today.
CPU
It's been
cooler shirt.
glorious. And
Yes.
and the pub glass, double glass
Woo!
option there.
Hey, Kyle D! This is my brother-in-law, actually.
Oh, that's up, Caldy.
Kyle 2.0, as I like to call him.
2.0.
Yes, my brother-in-law's name is also Kyle. He picked up a Stay Positive shirt. Dude, you could have just asked for one. I would have just sent you one.
No, he's
Like, seriously, we're
No,
related
to
now.
pay money.
That's just a perk you get. You just be like, hey, Kyle, asshole, I want this shirt, and I just give it to you. But thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate
Okay.
it, bro.
I have either Nicholas or Gettinella.
Oh, Gittinella, Double
Gettinella.
Johnson.
Or possibly Nicholas.
Oh, yes.
Say Johnson to both of you from
Sure.
CB Valley. Thank you so much. You got the Thumbscrew men's black shirt. Sorry the dogs are freaking out right now, by the way.
Thank you for picking up a Biosplasher shirt and a CPU Cooler shirt, sir. Or ma'am.
Hey, dog. I can't yell at them.
Andy?
I'll be
You get one
over
from
the
Andy?
speaker.
Picked up an Evolution shirt and a CPU Cooler shirt. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Andy.
Andy Johnson. And
I have 2 more.
Conchetta or Nick. CPU Cooler shirt. Conchetta or Nick.
Thank you, Conchetta.
Thank you, Conchetta. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. And that's all I got.
Okay,
From
I've
that.
got 2 more. John from Chesterfield, Virginia. Thank you so much, John. Got the Thumbscrew decal and an English pub glass.
Nice.
And finally, a Johnson going out to Jeff from Wisconsin. Thank you so much, Jeff. Got the Thumbscrew men's navy blue t-shirt. Thank you so much, Jeff, for your support. I really hope you enjoy that shirt. They're nice and soft.
Yeah.
Okay, that ends Awesome Hardware, episode 105. We're pretty much done for today. Thank you guys so much for watching.
It's been fun.
We are going to, as we traditionally do, send anyone who is watching live over to do a bit of a Twitch raid.
Twitch.tv/PsychoStick.
Yes.
This was suggested by our other beautiful moderator, Spider Fan. Thank you very much, Spider. We're going to go ahead and host it automatically. You can head over there yourself, dial in the URL if you'd like.
PsychoStick,
Psycho
just
Stick.
like it sounds.
Psycho
Stick.
There's no other way to spell that, really.
Same way to spell it. So everyone go over there, tell them we sent you. Thank you so much for watching Awesome Hardware, as
Indeed.
always. And we'll both be back later this week with tons of glorious videos and new content. It's going to be awesome.
Including the surprise build that we built for Cell.
Oh, yeah.
So
we built Cell, a surprise build.
Yes, we did.
It was awesome, and we'll have that video up for you guys later this week.
He cried. He was a flowy mess of emotions
broke down
and
into
feels.
Tears.
Yep. He really poured his heart and soul out.
It was touching.
Yeah.
It was a touching moment.
Yeah, you got to see it. You got to see it to believe it. All right, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.